If any of the comments mention the activate window symbol at the bottom right of my screen, you are evil and I don't like you, okay? I am so unbelievably tilted right now. This video is the epitome of when you try your best but you don't succeed. I just have no other way of describing it. Deep Rock Galactic is a game that I'm somewhat familiar with. I don't have too many hours in it, but I play a little bit of multiplayer with my friends. I would play it more if I wasn't so unbelievably terrible at it, and most of my experience in it is literally following people around and dying 24/7. If that wasn't my experience in it, then I'd have many more hours in it. PvE games are usually my sweet spot over PvP games. For obvious reasons, they're usually a little bit easier. In the case of Deep Rock Galactic, I can't say that much. Not because it's one of few popular PvE multiplayer games on the market. I really want to learn to love it. I want to get a little bit better at it. So I ventured into Deep Rock Galactic, and it had been a long time since I'd played it. And I was having a pretty calming time, you know, on the dance floor and playing kick the barrel into the hoop thing. I don't know if it has a name, but that's what I'm gonna call it, playing kick the barrel into the hoop. Pretty good name. Except for this Flappy Bird minigame. That can go to hell. I hated that. I couldn't win no matter what. I don't know what's happened to me. It's been a long time since Flappy Bird was out. I think that Deep Rock Galactic would be 90% better if the entire game was just in the lobby. This is my first time ever going in solo in Deep Rock Galactic, and it's my first time playing the game in general in a long time. I don't really know the specifics of my equipment or my leveling or anything like that. I kind of just went in with what I had. Apparently when you play solo, you get a little helper robot, and I liked him. He was a good addition. He was nice. Helper robot was wonderful. And I loaded into the mission that seemed to be the next objective that I had, which was to retrieve some alien eggs or something. And I remember these missions, they used to not be too bad. That being said, I never was the one actually finding them. I picked the gunner class because to me that makes sense, you know, it's kind of the closest thing to an all-arounder that you can get in a game that's very team-based. I will acknowledge that probably if I was with a team this would be a lot easier, but it's not very good for training. The entire purpose of what I was doing was training, okay? So I loaded, and there's this big freaking hole in the middle of the map. It's just there. Everywhere that I try to go, there's this big freaking hole. And to find the eggs, I have to navigate upwards. Navigating a cave is really hard when you don't know what's going on around you, and it's insanely dark, and there's scary bugs everywhere. Did I mention that I hate bugs? Because I hate bugs. I'm terrified of bugs. It is my biggest fear in real life. If I see so much as a fruit fly, I'm running away screaming, and that's not even exaggeration, okay? So when you give me giant bugs and the darkness, even if you give me a gigantic minigun that can do something good for me, still doesn't help. No matter what I did, I kept falling into this hole over and over and over. The more I tried to proceed, over and over and over, just falling into this hole. I can't stress enough how stupid it was how many times I fell into that same damn hole. All because I was trying to traverse upward. And the reason why it was so difficult was because of the freaking zipline mechanic in this game. I couldn't figure out how it worked properly. It doesn't make any sense. I tried to climb using the zipline and it just wouldn't work. Either it was too steep for me to use it, or I didn't get off at the right place and then I just end up tumbling down. They just don't work. There is no way to traverse upwards. Despite this, I still managed to find a good 4 dragon eggs, and I felt pretty accomplished. So at this point, more enemies kept piling in little by little. I ran out of ammo, I ran out of zip lines, I had no nitra, and I had to traverse to the very, very top to be able to get the remaining dragon eggs. Because of my lack of resources, I simply just wasn't able to do this. I kept trying to find my way upwards without having to use a zip line, and I couldn't. I kept trying to find nitra as well, and still, I couldn't. While I was trying to do this, I took a fatal plummet, my very last fatal plummet, and that's it. It was game over. The little robot wasn't reviving me anymore. It was a bust. It was my first time in a long time. It's fine. It's not a big deal. So this time I thought, okay, let's go for something a little bit simpler, and I went into just a simple mining mission. So my objective was to mine some morkite and some holomites as a secondary objective. I spawn into the mission and everything seems to be going okay. It's pretty peaceful, but oh my god, did I get annoyed at how lost I got. I mean, it seemed like it wouldn't be complicated. It was all just a bunch of tunnel systems, but what was up, what was down, how do I go this way, how do I go that way? I had absolutely no idea. I kept going round and round in a circle, all to find this morkite. I mean, trying to find this morkite is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. How am I supposed to know where it's gonna be? Is it down? Is it up? I just had no clue. I was beginning to get super duper frustrated, but eventually I ventured down to a lower level and I was able to find the morkite and the holomite that I so desperately needed. And what do you know? It was the first time I'd ever hit all my objectives and I was beginning to feel some immense hope. If only it ended there, because once you do get all these objectives, once you do finally venture into the depths of the cave to get to where you need to be, you gotta make your way all the way out to be able to get to the dropship to extract and for anything that you just collected to register and to count as a win. And I thought, that's it, I'm locked in, this is gonna be just fine. What could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Well, alas, about 60 meters away from the drop pod, or no, even less, maybe 30, I get a little bit closer and I realize, I'm in a giant pit that I can't get out of because the zipline says that it's too steep to be able to use it here. And I think, okay, there must be a mistake. I have like 3 minutes left. There must be a way out. I just need to take a detour. So I circled around and tried to find a different way to get there, but no, I just ended up going backwards instead of forwards. I was running out of time and I still couldn't find a way up this cliff. Eventually, I was just in this hole and I was like, okay, maybe if I dig some crevices into the rock, they can act as footholds and I can climb up. This was at about the 30-second mark. It was just the ravings of a mad woman, a desperate woman. But no, the mission ended. I couldn't have done anything about it. I don't know what I was supposed to do. Can you tell me what I was supposed to do? Because I don't understand what I was supposed to do. It's really not fair. The procedural generation must have been working against me because for all intents and purposes, there was no way that that could have happened, right? Like there had to have been a way. Anyway, I was super tilted and I didn't go back in after that. It was the worst experience ever. I think I was in this map for at least half an hour looking for everything that I needed. And I don't know what's wrong with me. I really think that my biggest downfall was my directional impairment, the darkness, and just there's a lot of responsibility on you when you're one little dwarf on your own just trying to get the metal you need and then exiting safely. It's too much responsibility even with my little helper bot. I was so angry and so frustrated with this game at this point that I just went back into the lobby and threw this ball around for a little while trying to calm my nerves. Maybe one day I'll be able to figure out Deep Rock Galactic, but today is not that day. Today I am too freaking angry because I put too much blood, sweat, and tears into that mission and I was so proud and it was all ripped away from me just because I couldn't freaking climb walls like the stupid spider bugs that were around me. And that is discrimination. Goodbye.